Hello guys, Ricardo Cardenas here with the topic of time management. This is a fascinating topic. It is something that I've been studying for maybe 2 decades almost, that's my guess. And the reason why I find this fascinating is because this is what totally makes the difference between the top producing agents and the agents that are average and the agents that simply don't make it in this business and they have to leave the industry. And what I have noticed is that the difference is in the way that people use the 8 hours per day that each person is granted for working purposes. So you need to ask yourself, what is it that you do during these 8 hours? What is it that other people do? What do the successful people do that they become so successful and they have such a great life and they make so much money and they have all the contacts and all the best properties and everything? What is it that they do during these same hours that you are being granted every day? So we will study this from two different perspectives, two different concepts that I will present to you in this video. The first concept is going to be the 80-20 principle. And you've heard me talk about the 80-20 principle many times. However, I feel that many people still don't apply it. So it seems that everybody understands what the 80-20 principle is, or at least the basics. But for some reason, we're still not applying it to its full extent. So I will insist on the 80-20 principle during the first few slides. And then, in the second part of this presentation, I will explain something that I learned from Stephen Covey, from his book, The 7 Habits of the Highly Successful People or Highly Effective People, and also from his book, First Things First. So let's get started with the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto principle, says that 80% of your commissions come from 20% of the things that you do. So let me grab my laser pointer here. So basically, this principle says that 20% of the things that you do are highly productive. And in this 20% of the work time that you have available during your day, which is from 1.5 to 2 hours maybe, that's 20% of 8 hours that you have available. That's when you actually produce 80% of your revenue. Then my big question to you is, so if you're only really productive during 20% of your time, what do you do in the other 80% of your time? And we will study that in more detail during this presentation. Now, to help us see this 80-20 concept even more clearly, we're going to use this little graph that we have here. This is 31 little figures that represent 31 clients, whether they are buyers or sellers, doesn't matter. And this is how most people think about their customers, how most agents think about their customers. They think, well, I have 31 clients and I want to treat everybody the same. I want to be fair with everybody. I want to give the best service to each one of these individuals. Okay, well, that is a very noble way of thinking. However, reality is different, because what reality shows is that these 31 clients are not alike. This is what they truly look like. You have one client that makes you the big bucks. Then you have 2 big clients. You have 4 good-sized clients. Then you have 8 that, okay, well, at least they make you some money. And then you have 16 clients that are a total waste of time. These are the buyers that never buy and the sellers that never sell. Non-qualified buyers and non-motivated sellers. This is what these 31 clients in reality look like. So what I will ask you is that, first of all, you get rid of these 16 clients that they are just a waste of time. You need to fire these clients. Then with these 8 clients that they make you some money, well, you need to work on them so they either move to the left or move to the right. If they move to the right, you get rid of them. If they move to the left, then you give them world-class service. Now, there is another way to look at this. In this chart, what we have is in the horizontal axis, what we have is the names of all of these, I believe it is 11 clients. And they are organized from the smallest commission. Peter leaves you very little money. Mary, still very, very little bit more than Peter, but nothing truly worth it. Elizabeth also, Jean, Gary, Rick, Lucas, Chris, Sarah. Then you get to Johnny and Frank. Johnny and Frank are good size. They are interesting. Okay, you can work with those, but where you're truly making your money is with Sue, Mike, and Donna. These are the 20% of your clients that make you 80% of your money. This is where the big money is. So what I will ask from you is that you eliminate all of these people, most of them at least, and you focus on the Sues, Mikes, and Donnas of this world. That's where you will make the big money. That's where you will have the greatest impact on your career. What do you do to eliminate all of these clients and also all of these 16 people? What do you do to eliminate all of them? Well, you simply say no. Say no to non-qualified buyers. Say no to tire kickers, to non-motivated sellers, to sellers that don't want to pay your full commission, to sellers that don't want to sign an exclusive listing agreement, and to sellers that they insist on a price that is much higher than the market price, which is the actual price of the property. Just say no to those people. Fire those clients. Then what you will find is that you will have plenty of time to work with the Sues, Mikes, and Donnas of this world. You know who they are. Work with these people more closely. You don't have time to do that now. Maybe because you have too many of these clients that don't make you any money. Get rid of them. Fire them. Say thank you, but no thank you. And then devote that focus, time, and energy to provide even better service to Sue, Mike, and Donna. Another way to study time management is by studying the 4 quadrants of Stephen Covey. Mr. Covey says that everything that we do falls in one of these 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. He says that, well, in the columns, he separates between urgent and not urgent. In the rows, he separates between important and not important. So we will study these quadrants a little bit, and we will see in which one of these quadrants is that the big money is. First, let's define what is urgent and what is important. Urgent means now. It requires you to react. You don't have to be proactive. You just react. It's like when you receive an email that has that high priority bell or flag, you have to react to that. That is urgent. Doesn't necessarily make you money, but it gets your attention. That's urgent. Important is different. Important is what gets you closer to achieving your goals. It is those few things that done on a regular basis will get you to achieve your biggest dream. But it requires you to be proactive. You cannot be reactive like with the urgent stuff. You need to be proactive to tackle what is important. So What does this mean for the regular real estate agent? Well, quadrant 1, this one here, this is the urgent, important. For example, a good buyer that wants to, the one that wants to see a property today, that is urgent and is also important. Quadrant number 2, this is not urgent, but it is important. Contacting past clients, looking for new clients, prevention of problems, automation, personal promotion, delegating, learning, developing relationships. This is a very, very important quadrant. I will come back to this one in a moment. You see that it is the only one that is with italic font. Important, not urgent. Then quadrant 3 is not important, but urgent. For example, most interruptions, incoming phone calls, incoming email. Quadrant number 4 is not important and not urgent. For example, computer games, wasting time, and reading things that are just novels and fiction and a waste of time. Now, what I have observed is that our superstars, our top producers, the people that make over $1 million every year consistently, they live in quadrant number 2. This is where they spend most of their time. Contacting past clients, looking for new ones, preventing, automating, personal promotion, delegating, learning, developing relationships. This is where they spend, I repeat, most of their time. Now, what do they do with the urgent, whether it is important or not important? What they do is they delegate the important and the not important. They delegate quadrants 1 and 3. What do they do with quadrant number 4? They simply eliminate this. These are people that don't waste their time playing computer games and doing simply stuff that doesn't make any difference. So again, our top producers, they live in this quadrant. They delegate this quadrant and this other one, and they eliminate this quadrant. Guys, what I have noticed is that our superstars, no offense, but they are truly not smarter than our average agent. They simply have decided to live in this quadrant, while the average agent lives in these other 3 quadrants. And this is where he spends the 8 hours a day that he is at work, doing urgent important, urgent not important, or wasting time. I invite you guys, move to live in this quadrant. The important, not urgent. Final thought from Stephen Covey, because you might say, well, Ricardo, the problem is that I would love to live in this quadrant, but I don't have time for this because I'm too busy. I am working on the urgent stuff all the time. Whether it is important or not important, it is urgent. It needs to be done. I have to take care of this. There is no way I can devote time to this. Well, Stephen Covey figured that out, and he says, don't prioritize your schedule. What you need to do is schedule your priorities. In other words, this stuff here from quadrant number 2, you will never have time for this, Mr. Covey says. So the solution is force this into your schedule. Schedule your priorities. Make this your priority and schedule it. Guys, this is like working out. You will never have time to work out. So what you do is you schedule that priority and you say, well, this evening from 6 to 7, I will work out. Whether it is going for a walk, a run, going to the gym, or whatever it might be. You schedule that priority so you know that you will be devoting time for that. You know that from 6 to 7, that's all you're going to be doing. That's why Stephen Covey says, don't prioritize your schedule. Schedule your priorities, which is quadrant number 2, which is not urgent but important, just like working out. In closing, I would like to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel today. It is youtube.com/Ricardo Cárdenas Remax. Well, I don't even need to tell you because you're watching this video in YouTube. So you know which is our YouTube channel. What you need to do is click on this subscribe button and also click on the little bell so you will be notified every time that we upload one of these videos. I hope this was very useful to you, and I will see you in the next video.